Okay, just imagine this for a second. You find a 2,000-year-old scroll in some remote desert cave. It's a text written before the time of Jesus, and it's been perfectly preserved inside a clay jar. Now, this isn't some movie plot. This actually happened, and it's the start of one of the greatest archaeological mysteries of our time, the Dead Sea Scrolls. Let's dive into what makes these ancient texts so absolutely captivating. Right away, this discovery kicked off a storm of questions that, honestly, we're still trying to answer today. I mean, who were the people behind these incredible documents? What secrets did they think were so important that they had to be stashed away from the entire world? These are the questions that are really at the heart of this whole mystery. You know, our story doesn't start with some famous archaeologist. It starts with a shepherd. Back in 1947, near this ancient settlement called Qumran, right on the shore of the Dead Sea, a young Bedouin shepherd was out looking for a lost goat. And, well, he did what you might do. He tossed a rock into a cave, hoping to scare the animal out. But instead of hearing a goat, he heard the sharp crack of shattering pottery. And that single sound, it led to the discovery of a lifetime. Over the next 10 years, that one find sparked this massive search, and they ended up uncovering 11 different caves packed with over 900 ancient manuscripts. It was like an entire library lost to time had just been found. So what in the world was in this hidden library? I think to figure out who wrote the scrolls, we first have to get a handle on what they were writing about. The clues, as it turns out, are hiding in the texts themselves. This collection is just incredibly diverse. It has the oldest known copies of books from the Hebrew Bible. Some of them are 1,000 years older than anything we had before, but there's so much more. There are these dramatic prophecies about a final war between the sons of light and the sons of darkness, super detailed rules for a highly disciplined community, and even texts about this mysterious figure called the Teacher of Righteousness. It's a fascinating window into a forgotten world of ancient Judaism. Okay, so with a library this unique, the question of who wrote it becomes a real detective case. Scholars have been going back and forth on this for decades, and 3 major theories have kind of risen to the top. Let's treat them like our primary suspects. For a long time, the most popular theory was that the scrolls belonged to the Essenes. See, ancient historians described this group as a really devout Jewish sect that lived in communities, was obsessed with ritual purity, and was basically preparing for the end of the world. And the ruins right there at Qumran, they look like a perfect fit for that kind of settlement, which makes the Essenes prime suspects. But what if the scrolls weren't from a local community at all? A second theory suggests these texts were actually a sacred library smuggled out of the temple in Jerusalem. The idea is that priests fleeing this devastating Roman invasion in 70 CE hid their most precious documents in these caves for safekeeping, probably hoping they could come back for them one day. But it gets even more complex. The writing styles and the beliefs in the scrolls are so all over the place that a third theory has really started to gain traction. Maybe this wasn't one library at all. Maybe it was a collection from many different Jewish groups, almost like a regional library or a sacred archive. And in fact, that's where a lot of modern scholarship is heading now, away from a single, simple answer. The evidence might be pointing to something way more complex, not one isolated sect, but a dynamic movement of interconnected communities who all shared, copied, and valued these incredible texts. So the truth might not be about one group, but about many. For decades, this whole debate was at a stalemate. You had scholars arguing over the exact same evidence. But recently, a new witness entered the case, and this one isn't human at all. It's artificial intelligence. Let's see how this new technology is changing literally everything. So traditionally, scholars dated the scrolls using something called paleography, which is basically the study of ancient handwriting. But it's super subjective. It's really just an expert's best guess based on the style. But now, researchers have developed an AI model they named Enoch, and it's been trained on hard data from radiocarbon dating to analyze handwriting with objective precision. And the impact here is huge. The team behind Enoch says their work is leading to a completely new timeline for the scrolls. By redating these key texts, the AI is shaking up our entire understanding of this incredibly crucial period in history. So what did the AI actually find? Well, in case after case, both the hardcore radiocarbon dating and the Enoch AI model pointed to the same conclusion. A lot of these scrolls are way older than the paleographers had estimated. The whole timeline of who was writing what and when they were writing it is being pushed further back into the past. And listen, this isn't just some rogue algorithm making things up. When human handwriting experts reviewed the AI's work, they agreed that 79% of its date predictions were realistic. That high level of agreement is a big deal. It means we now have this powerful, objective new tool that can help us re-examine all the evidence and maybe, just maybe, crack some of these long-standing debates.
So why does any of this ancient mystery matter so much today? Because these scrolls are not just old documents. They are a time capsule. They give us this direct, unfiltered look into the really vibrant and diverse world of ancient Judaism during the very period that gave rise to both modern rabbinic Judaism and early Christianity. They show us what people were thinking, what they were debating, and what they believed right before their world changed forever.
All right, let's just get right to it. Does any of this actually change what's written in the Bible? The answer is a definitive yes. Just look at this stunning example from the book of Deuteronomy. The standard Hebrew Bible that's been used for centuries says God divided the nations according to the number of the sons of Israel. But the older version, the one found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, says he divided them according to the number of the sons of God, as in divine beings. It's such a small change in wording, but it has a massive theological difference. It gives us a glimpse into an earlier and very different worldview. But even with all of our amazing technology and decades of research, the scrolls still hold their secrets pretty close. The core questions that kick this whole investigation off, they remain tantalizingly out of reach. We still have no idea who the teacher of righteousness was, this charismatic persecuted leader mentioned in the texts. Was he the founder of a movement, a prophet? His story is just lost to time. We still can't be 100% certain why this magnificent library was hidden in the first place. Was it a desperate act to save sacred texts from a coming war? Or was this the library of a community that just vanished from the pages of history? And that leads to the final, haunting mystery. What happened to the people themselves? Did they flee? Were they killed? Or did they just assimilate, their unique beliefs dissolving back into the broader currents of Judaism? The caves, they aren't talking. So we're left with this final thought to chew on. Do these scrolls represent the last library of a single forgotten sect, totally isolated out there in the desert? Or are they the last surviving remnants of a much larger, more diverse spiritual movement, one that was ultimately erased by the great upheavals of history?